Hello, welcome back to Number Wang. Wait, wrong introduction. Hello, welcome back to RJB TV, where it is me, RJB, bringing you some 1 vs 1 fastest map action. And today we have the player 9Rin2Hyung. I'm just gonna call him Young or Rin. Let's call him Rin. I can call him 9 as well, but 9 is a number. I don't really like numbers all that much. I'm gonna call him Rin. And the other player is a barcode with a lot of stupid numbers in between and an O in there as well. And it is the player LuckYBack. This is a file from LuckYBack's autosaves. And I don't know where this is going to go. I just know that we are looking at a Zerg versus Terran. And both players are on very close proximity within each other. Which means we will be seeing a lot of very close hill action. That is something I can assure you in advance. Hill action is going to be. Also, both players already know where the opponent is located because LuckYBack sent that Overlord over the hill into Rin's base and he immediately spotted that Overlord, didn't pull back in time, so both players know exactly what's up. Marine is out on the hunt, on the prowl, looking for that choke here in the front to try and disrupt it. Usually, if the Terran really wants to disrupt it, they would pull a SCV to that choke point there as well, but he's only sending a single Marine. 2 Marines are on the way. SCV, they're on the way as well, actually. Keeping it there in the front, I'm going to send it out there into the fray as well. LuckYBack has 2 Zerglings on the way, not 3. Well, 4 in fact. I wanted to say not 4, not 6, but 4 is the number. We have ourselves on Number Wang. And yeah, he's just chasing that Marine around. Rin is not really on the offensive here. He's building a choke here in the front instead, using that depot. He's going to build a depot wall. I hope he's not going to turtle, because I want to see some action. But my gut feeling tells me he is in for some slight turtle action. I'm not too sure. He is building that engineering bay there, though, already. He has got the academy finished there as well, and he's getting stim upgrade. Let me highlight that. There is the stim upgrade. He is no longer making Marines. He is now making Marines, though, because the depot there in the front has finished. He's going to send that SCV there out into the middle of the map to do something. Maybe he did. Well, actually, he already scouted them. I'm not sure what I'm on about. Anyway, SCV there in the middle. SCV is maybe going to build a factory there in the middle to close the distance between their 2 bases, to close the traveling time. Although, in this situation, I would personally prefer to see that factory out there inside of Rin's base instead. But he wants it out here on the middle. He's saving up his minerals. The factory is going to come in very soon. Come on, there it is. It's pretty close to the Sunkens, but given that Koreans don't usually push their Sunkens deeper into the middle, they keep them very close together to prevent Marine stim action from breaking through that choke point. Got the factory there on the way. It's very close. You just have to add a machine shop, and he'll be rolling into the fight with only, well, within 2 seconds, really. It's really close to that choke. Lolera for LuckYBack is almost finished. It's going to finish at about 4:14 or 4:15. 4:15 it's going to be. Exactly 4:15. More Sunkens being added there to the front, because he can see those Marines there with that Overlord. You can see a couple of them. You can also see units walking through this choke point here with those 2 Overlords. So he always has the information on what Rin is sending out into the middle. He does not know there's a factory there, but he does know the Marines are there, which is a safe reason to assume that he will need more Sunkens. He's also saying that Zergling out there, trying to get some information, but he decides against sacrificing it yet. Hylas then they're on the way. Queens has also already on the way. LuckYBack is going for probably the fastest hive on fastest map possible. And he's going for what looks to be Lurkers and Dark Swarm. He says what I'm thinking. Otherwise, we would already be seeing a different Tech 3, but he wants to get Hydralisks into Lurkers, into Dark Swarm. He wants it fast. He wants it really, really fast. Hive already being morphed. That is an extremely fast Hive timing. 2 more hatches there for Macro, of course. More Marines being sent to the middle. He's still only on 3 barracks there in the base. Got a starport there as well. He's building turrets for defensive purposes against Mutalisks or against Lurkers being flown over the hill, which is a real option for LuckYBack here, which is also what I think LuckYBack is going to be shooting for. Well, we didn't get the Overlord transport upgrade, so actually it's not an option. The tank here in the front is on the way. Siege mode is also on the way, but only halfway done. He'll be finishing that at about maybe 6:20, 6:30, maybe even. It's going to be 6:20, definitely. tank is finished. So he's got the turret there in the front as well for detection, but also to help fight against Mulisks. Marines, of course, are all very close together to fight against those Mulisks, but Mulisks are not on the way. He does have a Spire on the way there, though, but he wants Lurkers first. He says, you have a Hylisk there. In the queue, somewhere, there it is, 2 Hylisks ready to build, or ready to be morphed into Lurkers. He's got that science facility there being built as well below the starport. He's still only on a single command center, 30 SCVs there, 31 there for a LuckYBack, and he's going for the frontal push. It is commencing. The frontal push is starting, and there's a lot of Sunkens there to go through, but he'll get some splash damage down on those Sunkens because those tanks, well, those Sunkens are pretty close to each other. Actually, I'm not seeing splash damage. I'm not seeing any splash damage coming down on the Sunkens because the Sunkens are... Well, actually, I guess I'm wrong. Tanks don't splash on other Sunkens because the Sunkens themselves are just big enough to cover the entire splash damage area. So the first couple of Lurkers have finished. The Founder Mount is almost finished at almost 7 minutes in. It's going to be finished at about 7:05, which is a very, very quick Defiler mount. Also, he's getting more hatcheries there because he can afford them. He's going to have the Defiler out soon as well. It's on the way somewhere. Alright, the Defiler is now in the queue. He's got consumed there as well. Lurkers are going forward, pushing into those tanks. There's a lot of Marines there behind it, but there's too many Lurkers for those Marines to fight into. Although I do think he can try, but it looks like the detection from the tower reaches only to about this far, so we cannot see these Sunkens. It's a very, very precise and accurate burrowing from LuckYBack. LuckYBack now droning up, getting Lurkers, getting Hylisk for more Lurkers, getting the Defiler as well. He's got Consume almost finished up, and 9Rin is getting turrets on the side to prevent Overlords from flying over. I didn't see Overlord Transportation upgrade or Overlord Speed upgrade coming out from LuckYBack just yet because, well, it's very costly and he wants all that gas to go, well, elsewhere. He's got a Greater Spire on the way. Lurker has finished. Well, the Defiler has finished. More tanks are here on the middle. Rin is adding a lot of starports. He's got that vessel there on the way as well. He's got Radiate finished up, I hope. Or presume, or maybe he's not getting Radiate just yet. Maybe he just wants to get that vessel out there really quick. Now with the vessel out here, though, he can start to try and push, but the Lurker Swarm comes down there and keeps his opponent Rin out of his base. So the game at the moment, even though LuckYBack is going for something we don't often see, his build order is working out quite nicely, and I do think that Rin certainly has the Radiate upgrade. Oh, he killed the drone with his own drones. That's really, really smart. Haven't seen that done before. Killing the drone with your own drones to prevent your drones from getting killed by the Radiate on another drone and having a huge drone loss. I like the word drone. It just rolls off the tongue. So we killed all the structures there with manual firing, but also because the vessel is no longer there, so the Lurkers are not detected, which makes those tanks fire on the structures instead. But the Dark Swarm comes out just in time to prevent those Lurkers under the Dark Swarm from getting detected. Rin is just trying to catch up at this point. He's built 2 more command centers to get more SCVs. He's on 42 now, adding on more depots there as well. Poor SV here is stuck. Misplaced the depot. Very tragic. Absolutely tragic. It's going to screw up his entire SimCity here in the top corner. That would absolutely trigger me very, very hard. So energy for vessels on the way. We've got level 1 weapon upgrade there for the Marines. A level 1 weapon upgrade for the tanks is not yet being researched. We have Overlord speed there on the way for LuckYBack finally. And we've got Guardians being morphed there as well. So he's getting every single thing in the Tech 3 pretty much right now, right here. And he's gonna lose. No, he burrows those drones really quick, just in time. But more vessels are on the way, but they're flying into spores. But fighting happening at the front as well. Drones are still all alright. The drones are all alright. He lost 2 of them, but he still has 54 of them left. The fighter there gets radiated in the front to prevent more Dark Swarms from coming down, but he doesn't have energy for another Dark Swarm, so he's just gonna... Ooh, is he gonna try to do it? Ooh, alright, he eats it. And throws out another Dark Swarm there in the front just in time. Now the Guardians are going to try to kill those tanks here on the edges. And everything that gets pulled in by the Guardians aggro gets killed by the Lurkers under the Dark Swarm. Pretty smart little optimization there from LuckYBack. And pretty good placement on that single Guardian. So he's putting most of his Hylisk here on the top side because he wants to snipe those vessels before they arrive. But the vessels that are arriving, but they are not radiating in time because they go down just before they are able to. The drones, though, had to burrow, but he's at 66 drones now. He's getting pretty rich in terms of what he can have as income per minute So the game is looking very good here for LuckYBack, and he's finally pushing a little bit deeper into the middle of the map, trying to damage all these units on the middle just a tiny bit. 9Rin has decided against being aggressive because, well, there's Dark Swarm with lurkers under them here in the front, which is preventing him from pushing forward. So instead he's focusing entirely on getting his macro up and running. His income has to be high. He has to have a lot of factories, a lot of starports if he wants to match with LuckYBack's ability to produce. Because LuckYBack has more drones, although SV count is soon going to be catching up. The upgrades for LuckYBack are currently he's getting level 1 carapace. He's getting level 1 attack for his Hylists and his lurkers. Getting another Dark Swarm here up in the front. He tried to get a Dark Swarm here with a lurker under it. You're in the front, but the lurker died before he could get in there. So he's just building up, getting stronger. Getting a second Spire there to get 2 air upgrades at the same time. More Guardians have been morphed here as well to try and clear out these units here in the middle. He loses to the Filer, but he gets a lot of swarms up here as a pathway into the middle to try and start killing these units here on the middle from Rin. And Rin very wisely retreats, puts tanks a little bit out of the distance where they are no longer in danger of getting attacked by units under the Dark Swarm. The tanks there go down to the Zerglings go down to the tanks, but not the Zergling there gets on top. He's keeping the tank there under the Dark Swarm, so the Dark Swarm winds up backfiring just a tiny bit, but at least he killed all the units that were here and forced these units. Oh, I just choking on saliva. I need a drink. So the vessel's coming in to kill those Guardians. Dark Swarm comes down there. The Marines are not that awesome. Oh, wait. He has no units under the Dark Swarm. Well, he's got that one Hyless under the Dark Swarm. Zerg is coming in now under the Dark Swarm as well. Rin is not pulling his Marines back because he's focused on killing those Guardians, because the Guardians are killing the tanks here in the choke point. The Zerglings eventually mow through all the Marines that were there and are now going to enter the base. The last Guardian there goes down. Tanks are sieging up. He's got those Firebats there to kill the Zerglings. Hyless are coming in there to kill the Firebats, but the tanks in turn kill the Hyless, which now means that those Guardians are going to come in and try to kill the tanks and kill everything else. It's a long list. It's a very long list. More units are coming out there for LuckYBack. LuckYBack is keeping up his production very steadily. He's got all that kind of stuff there on the way. Vessels are pulling back because they don't want to die to the Hyless. And it looks like the Zerglings are getting on top of the Hyless there, but Marines coming in from the back and more tanks there have spawned as well. The Vessels are trying to take care of those Guardians as fast as they can, but they have to wait for energy. Tanks are rolling up. Tanks are clearing everything out, and it looks like Rin is at the moment still somewhat safe, with more Zerglings there are on the wave. I'm Scorching them is there to take care of those vessels as well, but LuckYBack stops attacking for now because he knows that he's just sending units into the meat grinder, which isn't really working out, it appears. Rin also finally decided to go past the 60 SCV mark. Got every single air upgrade he needs on the way. Ship weapons, ship armor, tanks, mech armor, mech weapon upgrade. Everything he needs, because, well, Marines are not that awesome against Zerg on fastest map in the late game, so you're gonna have to transition to tanks, vessels, Valkyries, and Goliaths, most likely. And that's exactly what he's doing. He still has some Firebats there to take care of those Zerglings as they enter. And Valkyries going for the Guardians, and Vessels going for the drones, but the drones get run away and burrowed up, so only 3 of them will go down. Valkyries are doing a great job there damaging those Guardians. Look at those Guardians going down very slowly but surely as the damage is spread out amongst all of them. The Valkyries eventually do go down themselves as well. Now the Guardians are going past the wall, attacking those tanks, and now the Vessels that just wasted all their energy on the drones no longer have energy to kill the Guardians, which now means that the Guardians are going to tear through a couple of those tanks. Rin very wisely unsieges them and once again pulls them back to safety, buying some time for these Valkyries to finish so the Valkyries can kill the Guardians. But now Zerglings are coming in as well, which is not that good because those tanks are no longer sieged up and will no longer fire on the Zerglings from a distance. Pretty strong showing here from LuckYBack. Pretty strong showing. He's got LuckYBack against the ropes. We're only 15 minutes in, but it already feels like we've been watching at least 20 minutes of gameplay. He just decided to instantly go for the action and never relent and give up on the action. He does need a couple more hatcheries though, unless he decides to switch over to lurkers very soon or for Ultralisks, because he's been saving up a lot of gas, and I do see an Ultralisk mount coming in there in the top corner from LuckYBack, an Ultralisk Cavern it is called actually. The Defiler Mound is called a mound. He kills those turrets there on the bottom with Zerglings. Pretty smart move. Clearing them out at least. Getting something done with the Zerglings instead of sending them into the meat grinder of the tanks and the Goliaths. Some results are better than no results. Still getting on top of the tanks there. More Zerglings are on the way there just to throw them into the meat grinder, but they run into some fire bats. Look at them. So yeah, this is basically what Rin has to do for now, is get a couple more SCVs on his minerals because he's kind of poor and he needs more money, but he has to build Valkyries against those Guardians and probably against the Varus as well, because I see 12 Devourers being moved there in the top corner. I see the Defiler on the way there as well from LuckYBack. I don't see Lurkers on the way at the moment, and LuckYBack also has run out of his gas, but Valkyrie's coming in along with some vessels. Vessels, of course, there to tank the spores. Is he gonna burrow those drones though? He burrowed the drones. He pulled the most of them to safety. So the drones are still alive. He lost 2 of them, lost 3 of them. And the Valkyries don't do that well against the Devourers. They go down pretty much instantly without dealing all that much damage against the Devourers. So whenever you're facing Valkyries, just get some Devourers, and Devourers won't deal all that much damage anymore. There's of course the one off chance that your Devourers will go down before the Valkyries go down, but that's a very rare occurrence. So Rin now on 150 supply against 140 supply from LuckYBack. He decides to move out and progress into the middle of the map because he wants to try his luck against LuckYBack, who's got his back against the wall. Luck has forsaken him, it appears, because he is facing a mass amount of tanks here on the middle, wanting to push through this Lurker Swarm. As we all know, tanks cannot push through Lurker Swarm unless he has vessels there to either kill the Defilers or to kill the Lurkers under the Dark Swarm. But given that Rin just lost all of his Valkyries, we're seeing Guardians move out now into the middle to kill those tanks, but once again a wave of vessels and Valkyries coming in for those drones from LuckYBack. LuckYBack burrows them up just in time, and the Valkyries and the vessels once again both go down, which means, very sadly for Rin, that by wasting his Valkyries and his vessels, these tanks here on the middle are gonna go down, which is the opposite of what he would have wanted to happen. LuckYBack though is low on minerals because he's always occupied with burrowing his drones and building a couple new ones and pulling them off the minerals and putting them back on the minerals. It's a very annoying process, but he does have Lurker speed there on the way. So the Lurkers are going to Ultralisk speed on the way. He's got all the upgrades for his ground forces on the way. He's already on, well, 0 for his Zerglings. He's on level 1, 0 for his Hydralisks, whereas Rin is on level 2 for his tanks within a matter of seconds. More Valkyries and vessels here on the way at his starports. Still on low minerals because he's only on 58 SCVs, as I've mentioned many times before. And as you can see, it's really hurting his ability to remax fast and build a base fast, because he's at the moment on 160 supply, losing tanks. No, he's killing the Lurkers there because there's no Lurker Swarm there on the Lurkers to protect them from the tanks. Which now means that LuckYBack has to scramble very quick, very rapidly to take these tanks down here in the front, and avoid losing anything more here in the front. He does clean them out eventually, but once again, vessels coming in there to get radiate on the drones, but this time around, where LuckYBack burrows drones, he gets radiate off, and he burrows the drones just in time. One drone goes down, only a single one that wasn't hotkeyed goes down. That's... LuckYBack has been handling those vessels really well, but another one comes in. Is this one gonna be it? Is this one gonna be it? The Valkyries are pretty much just being thrown into the meat grinder. I really don't like this. Because 9Rin is so focused on trying to kill those drones that he's pretty much killing and preventing himself from having any offensive ability except from sending these tanks into their death. So Rin really has to step up his gameplay here, because I get the idea. If he ever gets a good hit on those drones, he'll build himself a nice lead. But as long as LuckYBack keeps burrowing his drones and never loses drones and secures his income, Rin is just making the game harder and harder for himself. Also, he only has 9 factories. Not that many. He also still is on a very low SCV count. He is trying to rebuild his air army of vessels and Valkyries, but LuckYBack is setting up shop here in the middle. He's got Zerglings under the Dark Swarm. A lot of tanks and Goliaths here on the middle. Goliaths are great against Guardians. Vessels and Valkyries also great against Guardians. But I suspect LuckYBack is going to switch it up. After he sends out these Guardians and those Devourers into the middle, he's going to swap into Ultralisks because he has a lot of minerals. He already has some Ultralisks there on the way. I see 6 of them in the queue. I see Lurkers in the queue as well. Zerglings also in the queue. He's got one Lurker there in the front. Nothing underneath here except those Zerglings, which are getting attacked by Goliaths and tanks. But because the tank... Oh, this Darkstorm goes down. Goodbye, Zerglings and Hylisks. Now he's scrambling once again to get a Darkstorm up there in the front to protect that one Lurker here, and he does so successfully. There's only a single Lurker, and I think Rin knows. I think Rin is just going to have to throw down a Vessel Radiate there on that Lurker. The Guardians are moving out, ready to kill those units here, but the Goliaths are going to make minced meat off those Guardians if LuckYBack, if Rin responds quick enough with his Goliaths. Which he isn't. He's focused on this. He's focused on this, but there's only Valkyries trying to kill Overlords on the side to prevent vision and maybe get LuckYBack supply stuck, but it's not gonna work. More Guardians just throwing themselves into that wall of Lurkers, but he also steps into Lurker range. I mean, wall of Guardians, but he steps into Lurker range with his Goliaths. It sometimes is hard to find the right names. Anyway, he went for the drones, but the drones once again stayed alive. Drone stayed alive, still has all of them, and the Ultra is now going out into the middle to kill Rin's Master on the middle. The Vessels have not yet achieved anything whatsoever, and those Ultralists here are doing a great job. They're taking down those tanks with the level 1 upgrades on the attack damage. And level 1 upgrade for their carapace soon as well. Goes in, but he loses most of his Ultralists there actually. But more have spawned, more on the way. They're ready to attack those tanks, level 2 upgrades. Tanks are facing a really tough opponent here because Zerglings and Ultralisks are pretty much the natural enemy of anything that is ground, given the condition you have enough of them. Once again, he tries to go in with Vessels and Valkyries to kill drones, but LuckYBack burrows up his drones before the Vessels even arrive. Which now means that these units here are gonna tear through all those tanks. The tanks are sieging up though, which means they do take down the Ultralisks just in time, but more Ultralisks are on the way, and there's only 7 tanks here in the front and a couple of Goliaths. And once those Ultralisks are on top of the tanks, I don't see Rin surviving this one. Look at the tanks there being mowed down by... Oh, he gets a Dark Swarm there on top of the Ultralisks as well, protecting them from fire. And yeah, Rin might have just played this one wrong, I think, and suspect. If he had used those Vessels for offensive ability to push the front, this might have been a different story, but he just wanted to keep throwing them away with no results. Same for the Valkyries, they just kept throwing them away. And now he's facing Ultralisk, Lurker, Zergling, the fighter here in the front, although the Lurkers are currently missing. But he got in between the factories, and the tanks are going to go down. The factories are in danger of going down there as well. Gets a radiate down on one of the Ultralisks, but it's a pretty slow burn on the Ultralisk. It helps, but it's a slow burn. More units coming in through the choke point. LuckYBack is on low minerals though, somehow, because he's non-stop spamming. But he's in a way better spot than Rin is, who has nothing. A couple of tanks on the bottom, a couple of tanks are in between the factories, but not really posing much of a threat to this attack from LuckYBack, who's just going to mow through, walk through, get on top of all these units, and simply kill the factory and kill everything Rin tried to build in this game. And Rin goes down, and I'll be honest, it wasn't a strong showing from Rin. LuckYBack had a pretty strong showing. He played on a really low APM, but he mowed and walked over Rin and effortlessly defended his minerals for an extended period of time and time again. Rin tried, Rin failed. You could say he is 9Rin2Hyung to be trying that on a player like LuckYBack. LuckYBack comes out on top with, well, I wouldn't call it a lot of effort. He was just biding his time, dealing with the attempts at harassing him, attempts at shutting down his income, but he handled it really well. He was never really in danger of losing any income. Except, of course, the time he had to pull his drones off and burrow them, within which they are not mining. But he did a really great job there. He did a really great job there keeping his workers alive and punishing Rin for throwing away his Vessels and Valkyries time and time again. Sometimes as the Terran, it is wiser to just get a huge ball of units and keep them alive instead of throwing them away time and time again. Because if throwing them away time and time again does not work, you are facing a lot of units, more units than you yourself will have as a Terran. And that's what we saw here with Rin. Kept throwing away units, didn't have enough units to combat LuckYBack. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this one, and I'm going to look for a thumbnail. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment, do whatever you want basically. And hope to see you around next time.